Good evening, good evening, good evening. Jesus. Good evening, good evening. Share this live. Good night, good night. Welcome in. Welcome. You didn't wait for skies to open. You didn't need a storm to pour. You filled my soul in quiet places and drew me deeper than before. You're the well that won't run dry. Living water, you satisfy. Good night, Lanisa. Good night. Good night, Brother Bert Simpson. Good night, Brother Brahma. Remember to share the live. Send it to somebody. Let them know we're on tonight. Like water. Like water. You laid me down by still waters. Okay. Good night. Oh, thanks, Ethan. You called me deeper than the surface and pulled me into perfect light. You washed the stains I couldn't carry and made me whole beneath the floor. So this is Faith's newest release.
like water,
You're the well that won't run dry.
living
Living water is satisfied. From rain to the rising tide, you have always been enough. You're the peace when oceans roar, grace that flows forevermore.
Praise the Lord. Good night, everyone. Welcome tonight to our relationship discussion. I'm truly grateful to God, to all of you that continue to share and join us every Tuesday as the Lord would allow us. And I just want to encourage us to share the information, allow somebody to get this information, allow somebody to be impacted for the better. This is intended to really help families and I just want, really to use my knowledge, my experience, expertise, professionalism, all of that to help somebody. I think growing up, for me as a young woman, I felt as though that not a lot of information about relationship was not forthcoming by seniors and those who were older. And most of the time when it came like a rod of correction, a hammering. These sessions are really intended to forearm for those who are not yet married, those who are now getting into relationships. I believe like it's forearming you with information. It is more of it's a preventative method for those of us those of you rather who are already married and are in relationships. Some of you are in you're cohabitating with someone. In Guyana, we call it the common law union. And this also can help you if you, and it also can be for curative, because there are changes that we might need to make in those relationships, amending our ways, making some adjustments. There's nothing wrong with that. But all in all, it is intended to help lives, to help families, to help individuals in this world that put a demand on us for so many things. And one of the things that most of the time suffer are our relationship. I believe that relationship is the system that God used in the earth for everything. Relationship, whether it's friendship, whether it's a professional relationship, a business relationship, whether it's a marriage, God uses relationship so that society can evolve. From creation, it was about relationship. God saw that man was without and needed a human connection. Adam had the birds, he had the animals, the plants, everything. But there was no one for him to be in relationship that he could have communicated. Hence, God gave him a woman. And I use that because whenever I'm here and I'm advocating, I advocate on the basis of my scriptural belief that relationships, when it comes to intimate relationship that leads to marriage, it is my scriptural, my religious belief that is between one man and one woman. If that does not coincide with your beliefs, I respect that, and I trust that you're going to respect my belief system. And so I believe that God intended for a man and a woman And if there is something else that you believe, you have that prerogative to believe otherwise. So hopefully I can be of help to maintain and sustain healthy relationship. For those who are married, for those who are about to get married, for those who are dating, yeah, it is intended to help those who are living home. Yeah, I trust it can help you. So tonight we're talking about healthy bond. Because relationship is about bonding. It's building a connection. When we talk about bonding, we speak about having a connection, having a synergy that works, right? And most of the time, I know the first connection some of us try to establish, one is emotional, and then right after that, some of us want to connect sexually. And sometimes some of us go straight to sex even before an emotional bond is created. Because there are people who meet somebody the same night, the same day, and they're intimate, they don't know that person. Some people have a one-night stand. Some people went out, had a few drinks, felt good, and things happen. You get up the next day, and you don't even know the person's last name that you slept with, that you know. And we just go straight to the sexual connection. And if you're a woman, most time, women accept that person, for me, most of the time, women, after having a sexual encounter with a man, they start feeling that connection and wanting to be with that person. And if it was a one-night stand for that man, girl, that was just, fun, pleasure. But tonight I want us to be intentional, because if you are in a relationship, you must be intentional about why you're in that relationship and who you're in that relationship with. The intentionality of relationship has gone through the door. People are just bonding based on, oh, somebody can help me financially. People are bonding on physical appearance. Oh, I want a tall guy. I like them, physical features. I like them tall, 6 feet. I like them with a six-pack. I like them muscular. I like them with a Coca-Cola bottle shape. Some people are bonding based on physical appearance and not on value system. Some are not bonding on character of the person. It's just about the physical appearance. And I would like to say to you, whenever you're getting involved in a relationship, intentionality is very important. Who is that man? Who is that woman? What is the spirit of that person? You need to know. Sometimes we don't know the person. And by the time we discover them, we start disliking them because we find that there's no compatibility. What you value, they don't value. The things that you want to work on, they have no interest in. The goals that you have. Some of us get involved with people who have no goals for their life. It's just, oh, we have sex, we make a child, we have children together, but on a long-term basis of what a relationship look like, how to shape this relationship. What is the structure of this relationship? What is it that we're open to achieve coming out of this relationship? What family looks like for you? What finances look like for you? None of these things we don't discuss. It was just about, the sex. And I'm not putting sex down, because sex God created. It's a beautiful thing when it's done in the confines of the word of the Lord. And but even before we get to sex, we have to start creating bonds that are healthy. And sometimes it's better to put sex a little bit back on the burner and not right away. Good night, Rhonda. Good to have you. Sex don't always have to be the first thing you jump into. Sometimes if you take time to bond and get to know somebody, you will realize, no, you won't even go to the road of sex. because you will recognize that you're on two different wavelengths, you're on different end of the continuum. But because we don't do that, we get to sex right away because our bodies are acting up, and with the whole advent of technology, and you can be in somebody's bedroom from your bedroom. The speed of sex, increases because you start texting, and the conversations start going in a direction, and all of a sudden, your body are feeling things based on the messages that you're sending each other, and hormones are now acting up, and you're feeling that I want to meet this person. And so while texting is good, we're glad for the technology and all of that. Before, when some of us were growing up, dating, you had to come see that person. And so now we are creating bonds to texting, and most of the conversations are very suggestive and lacerated with sex, which arouses your anatomy. It arouses feelings within you. And the reason why we want to meet is because we want to explore this feeling that is being developed through these text messages, and some people call it sexting because the content of it is highly sexual. But tonight I'm hoping that I can help somebody, and together. So if you have any suggestions that you can recommend that we can use to form healthy bonds in relationship, then you can type it in the chat. So for me, one of the things I believe in when I'm in relationship with a man, because that's what I go for. I don't believe in same sex. I respect those who believe that, but my Christian belief, my biblical beliefs is man. If I am going to be in a relationship with a man, one of the things has worked, and I've seen it work, thanks be to God, because of growth, is that you pray with each other. For those of you who are religious, those of you who believe in God, I think building a healthy bond requires prayer. Not just, there are people spouses who pray for the other person, and that's good. But if you are in a marriage, even if you're dating, and now because you have technology, you can pray on the phone, you can do praying with each other, you get to hear the heart of the person. You get to hear the things that they pray for. The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. And so, as you and that person pray, you get to hear what are the requests, what is going on, how they pray for themselves, and how they pray for you. So you get an understanding without having to question them of their thoughts of you. So praying with each other, what is coming out of each other, what are the requests being made to God for each other. And that creates a bond, because now you might hear your spouse praying, oh, God help us to be faithful. God help this person to succeed on her job or his job. And it creates a bond because now the heart, the intent of that person's heart is being exposed through prayer. And when people are praying with each other, beloved, what it also does, not just that you get to hear the heart and the intentions of the person, but when you are praying with someone, it also helps you to want to be good to them, be kind to them. It is difficult to pray with someone and then mistreat them. Something has to be wrong. So you start living out what you pray, because you're praying, you pray that you guys will be faithful, you'll be loving, you'll be truthful, and they start living out. As an individual, for me, you start living out what you pray. So the prayer point becomes now like a lifestyle. So you want to build a healthy bond, and so I think like praying and reading the scriptures reading the Word of God together, sharing, the scriptures. What are your thoughts about this? And that is out, and that's why it's healthy, because when you're praying and reading the Word of God, that has no sexual tone to corrupt your mind in it. It comes from a pure and a sacred place. And I believe that relationship, they are sanctuary. It's a sanctuary, your relationship. Your body is the sanctuary, the temple of the Holy Spirit. And so when you're coming together, when I bring myself into a relationship, I'm bringing my sanctuary. This is it. And so if you see your relationship as a sanctuary, then you will want to hold it with sacredness. You would want it to be sacred. So to build a healthy bond is to make your spouse your prayer partner and not your prayer point. Because sometimes you can make your spouse your prayer point. In the sense like, you're praying about all the things that are wrong about them. But yes, if something is not going right, you pray about it. But make your spouse your prayer partner. It's going to help you to love them. It's going to help you to treat them well. It's going to bring you closer together. And it's going to develop trust. It's going to develop intimacy with them. Good night, Michelle. Yes, good night, all of you. Nicola, good night. Good night, Joyanne, all of you. Good night, Jessica. Welcome. So we're talking about building a healthy bond with a spouse, with a partner, right? And so our first point is praying with each other and not just praying for each other. Spend a little time, and it doesn't have to be long, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't know what is but spend time praying with each other and reading your scriptures, read a verse, discuss it, get your partner's revelation on a particular verse and all of that. That's healthy. The other thing I would say to build a healthy bond is to schedule one-on-one time. And I say one-on-one is just you and your spouse. We are all busy people working. Some of you might have children involved. Some of you might even be living with relatives based on where your relationship is at. You're subletting family, living with extended family because of situations and circumstances. And therefore, you're always in a crowd. It's important that you schedule one-on-one, just you and your spouse alone. I know the children are there, but you can schedule, even if it's to get a babysitter for a few hours, alone time with each other is very important. And in that alone time, you're not just, okay, the children are not there and y'all are not. That alone time is where you talk, you communicate. You understand? You open your heart. You make it special. Maybe that alone time is preparing a meal. Y'all share that meal, sit at the table, wherever. My late husband and I used to sit on our bed. We spend a lot of time in our bedroom because our bedroom for us was very sacred. And we would just sit there on that bed, face each other, and we would talk. And we would talk about, where we're at. When that alone time, where we're at, it was a time where we evaluated our relationship, where we at, where we going, be honest. And I'm going to say, when you ask for honesty and truthfulness, you have to also be mature enough to handle it. So, evaluation, we would evaluate ourselves and evaluate each other. Like I would ask him, or he would ask me, what he can do better. And I would ask, where am I, where I need to grow to be a better wife for him. And that alone time, it was not about judgment. It wasn't about casting blame. It wasn't about attacking each other, because you can spend alone time and then it becomes very distasteful and distorted because you're out there to attack your partner. And that's why I say intentionality is very important, because once we establish our intent that when we are doing this alone time, this one-on-one, it's not in a way to destroy each other. It's not in a way to put each other down. It was never in a way to make each other feel lesser than they are. But it is like, I know no man is perfect. We know we're not perfect people. We don't always dot our I's and cross our T's there. Sometimes we can be so caught up with so many things. For me, once being in ministry, the ministry takes a lot. So there were times like I had to ask my husband, like, what is it that I need to adjust? And I had to look at how I could incorporate my husband into my schedule that was busier than him. Maybe if your husband's schedule is busier than you, then y'all need to be just intentional about getting alone time and getting away from the noise and the busyness and make it about each other. Maybe if it's to watch a movie. My husband loved movies. I was not the movie person, but if you are going to build a healthy bond, you have to have appreciation for the things your spouse appreciates, not just what you appreciate, because he was a movie person, and he used to go on YouTube. He watch those African movies with stories about God and have these messages, and then I started watching it with him. I was not really, I had a bias, first of all, I must confess, about African movies. First, because I thought most of them were about these, somebody doing somebody, and I had to listen to him, what is it that you appreciate about these movies? And for him, he loved the structure of how a man needs a woman, and he would have to go to the family and ask for her hand in marriage, and the culture. So he had an appreciation, and for that. And because he had that, I had to ask him, what is it? Because I used to be like, why this man watching these movies? I had my biases about it. But when he opened up to me about why he likes it and the stories behind it, and there were times I just watched with him. There were times I fell asleep, yes, because sometimes I did, to be honest. But when I get up, I would ask him what happened, how did the movie end, because I wanted him to know, I still appreciate and I'm interested in what you're interested in. And he would tell me how it ended and whatever. So, alone time can be watching a movie together. And sometimes those movies, used to, it used to arouse conversations and interest, and you can talk about situations in life and get your partner's perspective. So, whatever way you can spend alone time, if it's watching a movie, if it's just sitting there and just cuddling your spouse. I know ladies, we like being touched, but also there are men who like that. There are men who like to be cuddled, rub their heads, do something, play with their faces, say something nice. And these are just little things. Sometimes we think that we have to spend a whole lot of money, to do things. There's no money, you don't have to spend a lot of money to spend time with each other. There were times when my husband took me to the seawall, just drive me to the seawall. Now, what we would get on the seawall? Maybe a hot dog, a juice. He liked nuts, we had nuts. It didn't have to be something to incur an expense that is elaborate, but you have to be intentional about it, right? And Yeah, he liked the moods, the African moods. You just have to show an appreciation for what your spouse like. Some men like sports, so they're gonna watch their football or cricket. You might not like cricket, but it's not gonna hurt you to spend some time showing interest. Because this is your life partner. For me, my spouse is a life partner. It's for life. And if I'm gonna be stuck with you for the rest of my life and your life, the days that we have, then I've got to be, one of the things that is lacking in relationship is tolerance. We lack the virtue of tolerance, where we can tolerate the things and be appreciative of the things that our spouses value. So if you don't understand the movie, ask him what is going on. If you don't understand the game that he likes, ask him about it. Let him explain it to you, ladies. It's not, tell him like, okay, what's going on there? I love cricket. I'm a cricket enthusiast. My husband was. So we had fun with cricket. But my husband was a professional rugby player. Now, I don't understand nothing about rugby. But he used to take me from time to time to the national park where they would have these rugby. And then I got to be asking questions, But just being there with him, because there are times like I wanted to say, I don't want to go because I don't. But then I recognize this is my husband. And this is what he likes. And I'm his wife. And one of the things I want to say, the Bible teaches us in Ephesians 4:27, it says, neither give place to the devil. And this is something that God had to teach me. Like, if I am not in place as a wife and I leave that slot open, I'm giving place for somebody else to come in, for the devil to find somebody else. So as a pastor, I'm going to share this with you. My husband loved oldies. He loved going to the oldies. So he used to go to Transport, and he used to go to Dynasty. Now, I, as a Christian woman, and if some of y'all think that is sinful, God bless y'all. Maybe I'm not as safe as you are. And I'm not telling you to do that, because I know my grace, I know my strength. And I remember I used to go, not all the time, but there are times when my husband wanted me to go to the oldies, my late husband. And I used to go to the oldies with him. Now, when I went to the oldies, this is my husband. The Bible says, submit yourself to your own husband as unto the Lord. And when they rock it down, the kind of the soca, wine, bacchanal music, come on. My husband, you would know that my wife can indulge there, so I used to sit. He would be with his friends, they used to be talking, and And when the oldies come on and there's a song that he likes, he come and he pick me up. I waltz with him, because that's my husband. Now, I knew, like, I'm a pastor, I'm a Christian. What are people going to say? Beloved, I used to tell God, you tell me to submit to my own husband. In the meantime, I used to pray that the Lord will touch his heart, and that someday his love for the oldies, will slowly fade. And it's not that necessary. So I used to go to the oldies. So if anybody tell you they saw Pastor Natasha in Dynasty, yes, I used to be there and tell them with my husband. If they tell you, I went to Transport a few times, not a lot, but Dynasty was more on a regular for him, and especially if the Monday was a holiday, he carried his wife too. And I would go with him. And I would be there, and beloved, I'm telling you, I'm sitting, there are times I'm sitting when they rock the down, the soak and the bacchanal music come on. And I dare you, there were women who would come to my husband and he would have to tell them, my wife, and even, my wife is here if I need to dance. Could you imagine when I don't go with him? The temptation, the devil works, right? Because these girls out here, the man ain't got to go after them. They coming. I would sit there and I would watch women flirt, pass up and down in front of my husband. Yeah, I used to see that. So for me, I started showing appreciation, like, okay, so I went to the oldies. And I'm telling you, I prayed about it, and there were times, like I tell him, and my husband respected me. And he's, at one time I said, I'm doing this, and I let him know, because communication is very important in your relationship. I used to say, my king, I'm doing this because I love you. And as your wife, I want to be there. But I would tell him, if it was up to me, my heart of hearts, I would not go. But because of my love for him, I would. And he started slowly, not right away, but he's going, And then COVID came. And when COVID came, it just shut it down completely. And after COVID, he never went back or whatever until his departure from this life. So I'm saying to you, when you're spending, and that used to be a bonding time with my husband, when we was in, he said nice things to me in my ears. And you don't even have to go to the oldies, because also another thing we used to do is waltz in our bedroom. Put on the oldies music, and we waltz and we laugh, drink a little wine. My husband had liked Guinness, so he was a Guinness guy. He wouldn't take his 2 Guinness, and we would have fun. Listen, God put us in the earth to enjoy each other and to enjoy the earth in such a way. And relationship is one of the ways you're going to enjoy this earth. And so we used to waltz in our bedroom. We used to go to weddings and we would waltz. Those of you who know, we used to go to birthday celebrations of family and friends, and we don't care if nobody else is on the dance floor. That we used to waltz and have fun with each other. And I'm so grateful to God that I had that, and I did that because my husband went home to be God with the Lord. But I'm just telling you ways that you can, and I'm telling you how those little things cause us to bond with each other. So your one-on-one time with each other is very vital. It's necessary. So whatever means you can spend one-on-one time away from everything else, away from the children, away from church, away from ministry. Turn off the phone if church people, some of those of you are pastor's wife and pastor, and sometimes you just put the phone on silent. I don't care if somebody in the church, something is going on. Y'all won't believe this. My husband said to me once, you're not God. So if they call and they don't get you, they can call on God. He was that radical. My late husband was a radical man. Even though some people saw him so quiet. Like he used to tell me, my wife, they're going to wear you out. They're going to burn you out. So sometimes put the phone on silent so that nobody can call you and disturb you, and just give each other time. And it doesn't even have to be, intimacy doesn't always have to be sex, the actual act of sex. It is literally just where you sit there and you spend time with each other with all of your senses aroused. Your sense of touch, your sense of sight, look each other in the eye. You smell on each other, fall in love with your spouse scent. You must know your man or your woman's scent. Even there are around 10, 20 persons. One of the things we used to do is play with each other's hand. to take off the rings and play with each other's hand. I used to tell my husband, like, if I can't see you, close your eyes and play with each other's hands. So if I must know my husband's hand without even seeing it with my eyes. We used to do that, like learning each other. Those are things like, it is so, yeah. Those are just tips, like, yeah. So another way you can bond, build a healthy bond, is doing chores together. As spouses, doing chores together. So if the wife is in the kitchen, or the husband, because my husband used to cook. Yeah, I think he cooked more than I cooked. He loved it. But we would do things together. If you gotta help with the dishes, if you gotta help cut up the vegetables, like sharing the responsibility, doing chores, and while you're doing that, you're bonding, you're talking, you're touching, you're doing little things. So cook together, do the laundry together. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the more time you spend with each other, is the closer you're gonna get. The deeper the bond is gonna be. I always believe that Adam was away from Eve for too long, so the serpent came. So doing chores together is helps you. So cooking, cleaning, shopping together. So myself and my late husband used to go grocery shopping, and we go to the market. And there are times he would wake me up some Sunday mornings, not every Sunday, but sometimes like 5 o'clock, we go to the wharf. And my husband had a way of walking with me with such pride, like holding my hands, and every stand he touched down, he got to tell people it's his wife. I don't know why he would that well, but I go with the flow. So we used to go shopping together. We go to the market, get our vegetables, the greens, whatever. We used to go to the shop. Those of you who know Agricola, we go to Brother Dennis together. We used to shop. Just those little things, that you can do. And I'm telling you, those little things are very much precious and helpful. So do that. Go shopping together. Yeah. Another thing, spontaneously you take a bath together. Yeah. Go in the bathroom with him or with her. You don't even have to tell them. They're in the shower. You can undress and go. What's wrong with that? Go in the shower. Have a bath together. Nice things happen in the shower, people. Bonding happen in the shower. Rub it, go. You soap his back, rub her back. Take care of each other. Good night, Royston. Yeah, my brother, how are you? Good to have you on this live tonight. Yeah. Yes, go in the shower together, man. I don't care if y'all married 20 years. Be spontaneous with it. Even if you had a shower and then your wife come home or your husband come home, nothing wrong in going to have a shower together. Explore each other's body, pay attention, do those things. Yeah, you see, we feel like if relationships are hard. Relationships are not hard. But if we don't put intentionality into relationship, it becomes hard. And that is not the intent of God for us in our relationship. So you can spontaneously share a bath with your spouse. Those of you who have the bathtub, yeah, fill it up. If you don't have a bathtub, go and the shower together. Yes, do that. Good night, my sister, Karen. I love you too. Yes. So take a spontaneous bath every now and then. You and your husband, you and your wife in the shower together. And there's nothing wrong if your children see these things, because you're teaching your children this is how marriage should be, this is our relationship, this is what love looks like, and they get to see something that is positive and healthy, that they can emulate when they become husband and when they become wife. So you can do that with each other. Do doctor visits together. Your husband or your wife might have a doctor's appointment. Go with them. Find out what is happening. And I can tell you from experience, men are very secretive about their health. They're very. The man go to the doctor, asks you what he done. Yeah, he just said this, everything all right, and he just gave me this, and they don't go. So from my experience, I would say to you, you guys make it a habit. Those of you who do annual checkups, those of you if your spouse might have some medical challenge that they're dealing with, you want to go with them to the doctor. You want to ask your boss for some time off. My husband has a doctor's appointment, and I'm taking a time off, a couple hours to be there. Those things show interest in the person's health. So you can do your doctor's visits together, do travel vacation together. Yeah, you know, drive. You take a drive. Take a drive somewhere. You know, you don't have to have a lot of money. You have a vehicle, y'all can take a drive or take a bus, go somewhere. For those of you that might not be able to take vacation outside of Guyana, you can do domestic vacation. You understand? Listen what my husband used to do. Every now and then, my husband used to let us go to a hotel and spend a few hours or whatever. I never, that wasn't my cup of tea. I go, God, people see you go in a hotel, right? I'm going to say I'm your husband. So go to the hotel. You know why? Because some of us live with people in the house. And your husband or your wife want to enjoy themselves. They can't scream loud because somebody going to be hearing. So what you can do? You can go to a hotel, spend a night or spend a couple of hours. Boyfriend and girlfriend just go to the hotel. A hotel are not just for people who are cheating and giving blow, as we would say. You as a husband, you as a wife, you want to get away from, remember we were talking about bonding. So you can tell your husband, you can plan it, you can call up and book a room and all of that. You know your personal schedule, and you let them know tonight or Friday night or Saturday night, we're going X place with each other. And you go there and you get to unwind and be away from the home and the children screaming and all the other things that are there distracting you. So you can do that, right? Go if you can afford it. Go to a resort together. No, those are simple ways of bonding and spending time. Surprise your spouse with things that they like. Yeah. Surprise them with something they like. So if she likes chocolate, surprise her with a chocolate. If you like colognes, you like perfume, surprise him. You know, just be. And it's not like you have to always have a timetable. Sometimes being spontaneous. It doesn't have to be his or her birthday. It doesn't have to be anniversary. It doesn't have to be Valentine. Just because you love this person, just because that's your king, that's because that's your queen, you surprise them with something that they appreciate. And you don't need a special occasion to do so. That person is already special to you. I like to say, I call, for me, my spouse is my person. When I say you're my person, it means there's nobody in this world that I feel the way about, like how I feel. So because you're my person, I can do something for you. I can surprise you with something that you appreciate. Right? Yeah. Whatever that person appreciates, you surprise them. Every now and then, just do it. You don't need to wait till Christmas. You don't need to wait, for nothing. That person is already special. So you don't have to wait for a special occasion or a special whatever to do it. Just do it because they're special to you. You value them, and this is your way of communicating. Forgive quickly and make up quickly. If you're gonna really bond, that healthy bond, you got to forgive quickly. Do not be carrying things in your heart and in your spirit about your spouse. Bitterness in your heart, vengeance, waiting for opportunity to get back and lash out at them. You understand? Do not be carrying issues and hurt for lengthy periods. It's not healthy for your bonding. So something happened, you want to respectfully discuss it, address the way forward, what it's gonna be like going forward. This is not what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. And this is what we're not gonna do. This is what we're gonna allow. This is what is not allowed. You forgive and you make up quickly. Do not give room for bitterness and wrath and malice and resentment against your spouse. Don't do it. So something happened. There are some things, like they're frivolous things. Okay, let's say men. Men have a way of not putting down the toilet seat. Now, you have to create a whole monster. What is that? You have to bring down heaven, because the men are gonna, and you create a whole problem for a toilet seat. Some things, beloved, you can deal with it. It's unnecessary to create a problem over because he didn't remember to put on the toilet seat. Or, some men have a way of dropping. Take off the shirt, they drop it there. Where the basket is, but they drop it there. And you gotta create. No, those are frivolous things, beloved. You can get a man who put the toilet seat down. You can get a man who puts his clothes together and he's unkind, he's unfaithful, he do all kind of stuff. So sometimes for me, I like to say, pick your battles, choose them wisely. What we fight on and what we don't. But I don't fight you, and you don't have to fight your spouse and everything. There are some things that you and I can overlook. They are frivolous. Oh, you don't remember for cover the pot back, and you didn't remember for cover backs. Those are things you can live with. Choose. Don't allow every little thing to affect your relationship. And I'm saying that because many of the times what we're trying to do, we're trying to make our spouse to be like us. So so if your spouse is the kind of person, they always left the salt jar open or the pot open, and you're gonna say, why you can't be like me? No, God didn't create your man like you or your woman like you. You understand? So choose your battles wisely. Choose what you would argue on. Some things you don't have to argue. Some things you don't have to fight on. You just let it go. Do it. Do it. You do it. If you didn't remember to cover it, you cover it. If you didn't remember to put on the toilet seat, you put it down. And bless him in the same time. So forgive quickly, make up quickly, right? Because you don't want to have anything standing in the way of your relationship. I love that. Thank you, Chanela. You don't always have to be right. Listen, let me say this. There's a difference with being right and doing what is right. Sometimes to save your relationship, you have to give up being right and doing what is right in that moment. A lot of people have lost their relationship, have lost their lives, they're in prison because they were trying to maintain the rights rather than doing what is right in the moment. So you got to learn that, because some of us, I right. But was that the right thing to do at that time? Take, for instance, driving. You're driving. You have the right of way. But a car is coming that doesn't have the right of way. And that car is coming with a speed. In that moment, will you choose to be right? I get the right of way, so I go and have a head-on collision? Or in that moment, even though I have the right of way, that is my right, I am going to now be cautious because somebody else is not being cautious. So I'm going to do what is right. I'm going to slow down and allow this person to go so we don't have a head-on collision. In the same way, there are times in your relationship when you will have the right, but choose to do what is right. And maybe sometimes to choose to do what is right is to be silent in that moment, because you're trying to maintain your right, and it's better to be silent. Say nothing and let the whole issue that is created, let it come down, the tension come down. The right thing in that moment, even though you might be in the right, might be just to say nothing so that peace can prevail. So while a lot of couples spend time about who was right and who was wrong, our focus should be doing what is right in the moment, what is needed and what is necessary in the moment. So if doing what is right means silence, silence. If doing what is right, saying sorry so that you can de-escalate an argument, say sorry. Right? So you forgive and you make up quickly so that you can maintain your bond, your healthy connection with your spouse. The other thing you can do is avoid rehearsing past issues that were addressed. Avoid bringing it up back. Now something happened. Both of you sat, you discussed it, you came to a conclusion on the matter. It has been addressed. And next month, not the same issue, not the same thing happened. Something else totally different occurs. And you gotta bring it up, bring it back what was addressed last month, what was dealt with, and you throw it in that person's face. Yeah. You know what you're doing? You're building a wedge between your spouse. You're not closing the gap, you are widening it. So when issues have been dealt with, they've been addressed, you do not wait for something else to sling mud. So this is what I call it, slinging mud. And this is what I call slinging mud. Hear this one. Your spouse did something that you didn't appreciate. And you didn't tell them anything. You choose to let it slide. Now, next week, you did something that was offensive to your spouse. And your spouse bring it up to you. And then you go and say, but last week when you did do that, I didn't tell you nothing. But you're slinging mud now. If you choose, when your spouse does something that displeases you, to say nothing about it, and you let it slide, and now he or she is highlighting something that you do that they don't appreciate, and they choose to address it, and you want to justify it, that is slinging mud. And that is manipulative. It's a manipulative tactic, because some people will allow you to get away with things so that they could get away with their mischief and their vendetta. So that does not God does not allow a healthy bond to take place, because now the spouse is thinking, okay, this is how we're going. So we start building things. We start gathering stones and bricks on each other. And we have it piling up and piling up. No, don't be like that. So once past issues have been addressed, don't continue to rehearse them, throwing it back in the person's face, reminding them of it, especially if they are making the necessary adjustment and changes. You don't have to weaponize it for the rest of their life. It's not a death sentence against them. So avoid rehearsing things that were dealt with and addressed and corrected. Avoid that. And if I think this is gonna be my last point as I wrap up. Do not use sex as a punishment. If you are married and you want to have a healthy bond, don't use sex as a punishment. God intended sex to be pleasurable and for procreation. Two things, pleasure and procreation. And so sex is one of the ways that a husband and a wife builds a bond. When you start withholding sex and using it to punish your wife or your husband, how are you going to be bonding healthy? Sex, when it's consensual, it utilizes the total man. So consensual sex, we're not talking about rape, forced sex. When sex is consensual, your spirit, your soul, and your body, all three are activated and becomes one in that moment. So the total man is involved in sex. And that's why we talk about transfer of spirits and soul ties. And you want to have a soul tie with your husband or wife. You want to be, And if you are withholding sex, then you cannot have a healthy bond with your spouse. When you defraud your husband or your wife of sex, you cannot have a healthy bond. You put a strain on them. You put a wedge between you and that person. So some people in anger weaponize sex. Some people out of frustration use sex as a punishment. Nothing tonight for a whole week. There are more unmarried people having sex than married people. I don't know why that is so, but it is. A lot of times, most of the time. You understand? So, I trust tonight I have said something that was helpful to you. Your relationship, your marriage is a sanctuary. It is sacred. Be intentional about it. Be intentional about your spouse. Get up every day with the intentionality to love your spouse, to treat your spouse well. You cannot have a healthy bond if you are ill-treating the person you claim to love. Men, open the car doors. Go back to those days. Open the car door. There are men who are, they go in the car and you leave your wife. You know? They are taxi drivers who would come out and open the car door for a woman. You want as a husband, your wife, it must be a norm. No man must not come and make her feel special opening car door for her. And you never open the car door for her. Yes, go back to those days. opening of car door, or if you're going into a building, you go in front of your wife and open the door for her to go in. You know, even sometimes you're going in a public transportation. I have seen men jump in the bus, sit down, and the wife, they're looking for see which seat she can sit down. Yeah. Come on, be intentional. Make sure that her seat is safe. You know, you're walking with your wife. Put her in the corner. Protect her. You stay on the outside. If you're riding a cycle and you're with your wife, you dismount from the cycle and you walk. You push the cycle, you walk. Those mannerisms need to come back into our relationship. It is very disrespectful for a man to be riding his cycle. Young ladies, if you're not married, hear this. Be dating you and you riding the cycle next to you. No respect. So we have to go back. As I wrap up, let me say this. To maintain a healthy bond, keep on dating each other. Keep on dating each other. I know some of you're married, or you might be living home for a couple of years, and your marriage get boring. Your relationship get boring. Continue to date each other even after marriage, or how many years of your common law union. Date each other. Call her before you get home. Tell her, put on your clothes, we're going out somewhere tonight. So you date your spouse. Keep on dating after the marriage. Yes, Sister Roxanne, back to the olden days, keep it spicy. If you want to build a healthy bond, you have to be considerate. God, we lack consideration in relationships. It's too much of a selfish world we're living in. We have become so selfish. And that's why relationships are having the trouble and the pain that it have, because of lack of consideration and care for the other person. And when we're like that, we can't bond. They're not healthy bonding. People do things out of just obligation. You know, as sometimes their wives and husbands, the way your spouse treats you, you just do what you do out of obligation. As a husband, I'm supposed to do it. That's why I'm doing it. But you want to be the wife that your husband just don't serve you because of obligation, but because of the way you honor and you treat him. It gives him no alternative but to serve you and be good to you. And the same thing for the woman. The man do it for the woman. You know, that person must not just be doing things to you because, oh, they say, as a wife, I got to do this, and as a husband. No. The way you love on each other, it must compel that person to that I got to do nothing less. I used to tell people when my late husband was alive, the way my late husband loved me, I could not cheat on this man. I'm telling you, I used to think if I cheat on this man, I'm a wicked woman. Because the way this man had loved me and honored me, cheating on him, I would have feel like I got a demon. And he wasn't a millionaire. This wasn't a man that was a millionaire, beloved. And that's why money do not move me. Because I've been in relationship with people that had money, businesses. But the way that man loved me, and I'm telling you, not just in public, private, man, submission for me was a pleasure to submit to that man. It was like, it is the only thing that I can give, submission. And so, in building a healthy bond, you have to be intentional. You have to give. You got to reciprocate love. It's not one-sided. Love is not selfish. So I'm trusting tonight I have helped you in some way. We are here in a world where there's a lot of hardships and struggles, and all the things we read about men killing women, and it doesn't have to be this way if we are intentional about each other. Yes, may his precious soul rest in peace. And he has taught me so much. Yeah, I will forever. If there was a person that I can ask God to bring back in this life, it would have been him, my late husband. And we were from two different generations, beloved. So he was 19 years older than I. And the thing about it, I had to learn how to listen to him and understand, because we were coming from two different directions, two different generations. He born in the 50s, I born in the 70s. But you know what? When you love somebody and you open your heart to them and you want to know them and you care about them, nothing became too much. You understand? When it used to, I don't know how people feel like it is too much to do for the person you love. I don't know. The only time I tell my husband I would not do something is if it's sinful against the will of God. Outside of that, I was his wife. And I would do whatever it takes to show him how much and I had a beautiful, beautiful marriage. Beautiful. Loving. I still gush when it was beautiful. Not that we were perfect, but we were willing to learn. We were willing to learn from each other. We were willing to learn from each other. We were willing to put in the work. And if you are going to have a healthy relationship, you have to put in the work. Relationship is work. Marriage is work. And it can work if both persons are willing to put in the work. So God bless you. Do share this live. Let somebody get this information, and then we'll be back next week. Remember, if you have any questions you'd like me to answer, inbox me and we can have a discussion. God bless you. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.